Hey, Andy. Beautiful compositions here. So I'm trying to make this fit into the window. There we go, got it. Okay, really nice compositions here. You definitely have a style, don't you? And then thank you again for the descriptive write-up. And, and I actually totally believe in post-processing as well. I think it's fantastic stuff, and I do it all the time. But in this class, we really want you to focus on using your lights and your camera. It's not really a post-processing class, so that's why we just don't really want that going on here. But as an aside and as a pro, I'm all for it. But I do like to save myself a lot of time in camera and try to do most of my work in camera because, right, you're just pressing the shutter button. So everything that you can get to happen correctly at that moment saves you so much time later on, because later on can really suck if you don't have everything all prepared. So anyways, that being said, thanks for following instructions. And bracketing using your aperture, perfect. And the reason why we wanted you to use your aperture for this assignment is because in this class you'll be using tungsten lights a lot, and you'll actually be doing quite a bit of portraiture. And we know that when we are shooting human beings, we must shoot at shutter speeds of 1/60th or faster, so your shutter speeds will be limited for bracketing. And tungsten lights aren't actually that bright, and so you're going to have to compensate for the fact that you don't have much illuminating your subject, and you're going to end up needing to do it with your aperture. So that's why we wanted you to bracket specifically with aperture today. Not that you asked. And your white balance looks lovely. I would have loved to have seen an enlarged view of this right here. I'm really interested in the reflections on this wooden surface and the composition as well. But, que sera, sera. So these two images are great. I love the detail. The depth of field is fantastic. The thing that your wide-angle lens is doing to this image, this distortion, is working out really beautifully in both of these images. Assuming you used a wide-angle lens, it looks like it to me. In all of them, it kind of looks like that you did to me. And I think that's how you would have gotten this somewhat narrow depth of field. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, your style with these intense leading lines in all of your images is great, and it makes this whole body of work function as a set, which is fantastic. I think in photographic design, they start to ask you to work on sets, to start thinking about making bodies of work, which you clearly have a very good understanding of, so that's fantastic. And these white balances all feel very, very good to me. They're fine. I would expect people, when looking for a nostalgic feel, especially based on the readings in the lecture, I would have expected people to go a little bit lower on the Kelvin scale than this, 4,500 or less maybe. And but to do that, of course, you would have to actually numerically choose your Kelvin temperature in your camera. Not all cameras do that. Mine does, but I'm not really aware of at what professional or prosumer level camera that function falls off. I don't know. But my camera, I can go in and say, I want this to be exactly 38K, 3800K. And I really like that, but it's because after years of shooting, I have a really good sense of what light sources are in what Kelvin range. And I oftentimes am looking for a very specific range based on my or my client's desires. But the presets can be very effective as well, and I think it's good to just experiment with them a little bit and to see what happens. I find myself frequently, when I'm just doing like point and shoot stuff for the family or whatever, I frequently just kind of default to cloudy, because it always makes my images kind of in that 42 to 3800K range, and it's easy to just click that button and have it there, so I don't have to think about it. But I like that one a lot. And so it looks like here you're using Flash. I'm surprised these came out so well with these presets. I really am. Especially because your light source is all natural, and it's very directional, which is great. I mean, they're beautiful at this steep direction. Really interesting, really interesting. But you might be, if you're using a Canon, I don't want to get into that conversation right now. Mostly I want to say, great job on the assignment. Your compositions are great. This is actually a strong body of work, which I don't expect to see the first week of class, so thank you. And thank you for bracketing properly, and I am really looking forward to seeing your work next week. Well, I guess technically this week, but I am still looking forward to it. Thank you, Andy.